Shalom. I have some more research that I've been working on, and I hope this blesses. It's really interesting, kind of the times we're in. Wow. So I have saw this article, and it really was pretty discouraging. President Trump pushes national pride when this whole pride thing is really reminds me of the dragon dream that I had when I saw this birthing happen, and before the dragon fully matured, I was snatched, literally. And pride is really bad in any way, shape, or form. And we're going to get into that, and I really wanted to show this scripture verse in Ezekiel. As I live, declares would be sovereign Yehova, Sodom your sister and her daughters have not done as you and your daughters have done. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters had arrogance, abundant food, careless ease, but she did not help the poor and the needy. Pride is really bad, and it seems like this is going to get pretty intense. It wasn't just about the blatant sexual sense, other stuff that they were doing too.
Thus they were haughty and committed abominations before me, being prideful and being, it says, pride, fullness of bread. Being prideful is bad. We may be, as a nation, to turn away and repent like Nineveh did in sackcloth and ashes. But this pride thing is just, the writing's on the wall. And I wanted to at least show that, because this is kind of where we're at right now. So he's made a way of escape for his, and we're going to talk about the open gate, Barley, and
where we're at in the time frame here. So Abraham was in the area of Bethel when Yehova gave him the land. So Bethel, the gate of heaven. This is also where Jacob's ladder, or Yaakov's ladder dream took place, and he named that place Bethel, or the house of Elohim. And Bethel was a place for the Hebrews, people of the crossing, to cross over, had early encounters with Yehova. So this professor, when the Jordan Valley was surveyed, they were able to determine that an enormous amount of people entered the land. And so Aaron Lipkin, you can go and look at this video. I think it's Prophecy Watchers, and Daniel Wright, they had a video, and you can go and order this, Hidden Israel. So Adam Zell put a drone over the Jordan Valley, and they found these footprint structures, which are enclosures, and there were 900-foot long sandal prints made of stone that looked like this. This is Argamon Gilgal foot. This was an Israelite worship site from the 14th century. So you can see this huge giant footprint, sandal print. I mean, how amazing is that? So what was happening, there are 6 of them, 6 of these footprint structures, and they're ancient worshiping sites of Israel. So there's a picture of it, and you can show where Joshua's altar, it's by Shechem, and then it goes through Argamon, and then Yaphet, and you can read the rest of them. Wherever you set your foot will be yours. This was a way to say this is ours, but it's also Yehovah's. When you read the context, wherever Gilgal is, you can tell it's not a town, but where they gather. It's a camp where they do festival events and circumcision. When Yahshua named the place of circumcision Gilgal, it is to take out the badness or the insult of Egypt out of us, the Egyptian tradition. The same as Gilgal is circumcised.
Joshua 5, this is remarkable because Israel had just crossed the Jordan into enemy terrain. With the river in his back, Joshua incapacitated his entire army in obedience to Yehovah. Gilgal remained the city out of which Joshua conducted his campaigns. And it goes through and it talks about lesser-known Gilgals, the town near Shechem, which you saw the map. So the name Gilgal comes from the Hebrew verb galal. If you look at this, I'll show this later. Gala, interesting. In English anyway. That's English, okay. The word gala, okay, or galal, meaning to roll. After Joshua had circumcised Israel, Yehovah said that he had rolled away the reproach of Egypt. And the place where he had done this was called Gilgal. Ever since Joshua 5:9. Note the name Gilgal is spelled the name as nouns in Gilgal that were derived of the verb galal. So I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but I'm sorry. So the verb is about rolling. It means to roll some object upon or away. In a figurative sense, it is used in ideas like to whirl or dazzle, or even to roll oneself into the Lord, meaning to put one's trust in Him, to commit oneself to Him. When this verb is physically rolling something away or somewhere else, the object is usually stones. The previous noun made feminine, meaning circuit, boundary, or territory. You can see those there, the scripture verses. So the root verb gil builds words that have to do with circular motion, usually express joy or celebration. It is most often refers to rejoicing at all attributes that say Ha theological word book of the Old Testament. So when it goes through the different variables of this, the masculine noun means rejoicing, the feminine noun also means rejoicing, and the masculine noun meaning a circle or age. The phrase Ben Gelu means son of the circle, and then one born at the same time, contemporary. This is really interesting. I was thinking about this. Moshe was raised in Pharaoh's household, so he was friends, known every deity and every sun worship thing and ritual they would have done in Pharaoh's house. And yet Numbers states that he was humble more so than any other man on earth. And that meant, if you see the other video that I just did, he turned. He humbled himself before the Lord and walked in His ways. So when looking at the etymology of the word Gilgal, means circular shape that itself in Hebrew when we say Hag, which is holiday, is a Hebrew word for circling. It's very important also in the temple. Worshiping Yehovah with your feet by going in a circle. Today when referred to the feast, literally foot. Regal, literally meaning, is 3 feet, 3 steps. Whence arose the meaning 3 times. 3 times you shall keep a feast unto me in the year developed in post-biblical times, the meaning as the 3 pilgrimage. And it was first used in the sense of the moon. Once through back information, the singular was also used in the sense of festival of pilgrimage. In Isaiah 50:13, those from among you will rebuild the ancient ruins. You will raise up the age-old foundations, and you will be called the repairer of the breach, the streets in which you dwell. If because of the Sabbath you turn your foot from doing your own pleasure on my set-apart day, and call the Sabbath a delight, this set-apart day of Yehovah, honorable and honored, desisting your own way, seeking your own pleasure, and speaking your own word, then you will take delight in Yehovah, and I will make you ride on the heights of the earth, and I will feed you with the heritage of Yaakov your father, for the mouth has spoken. Exodus 31:16. So the sons of Israel shall observe the Sabbath, to celebrate the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. Psalms 42:4. These things I remember, and I pour out my soul within me. For I used to go along with the throng and lead them in procession to the house of Elohim. But the voice of joy, thanksgiving, a multitude-keeping festival. And he says, Isaiah 55, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor your ways my ways, declares Jehovah. It's not what we think. It's not what we want to obey man. We have to obey his word no matter what. In Isaiah 56:2, how blessed is the man who does this, and the son of man who takes hold of it, who keeps from profaning the Sabbath and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Psalm 84, for a day is better than 1,000 outside. I would rather stand at the threshold of the house of my Elohim than dwell in the tents of wickedness. For Yehovah Elohim is a sun and a shield. Yehovah gives favor and esteem. He withholds no good matter from those who walk blamelessly. And so Luke 10:39, she had a sister called Miryam, who also sat at the feet of Yeshua and heard his word. So Hagag, the root verb Hagag, describes a gathering up of people in order to celebrate or hold a feast. Specifically, any of the three main pilgrimage feasts that Israel was to celebrate. These feasts were huge affairs that caused the entire daily economy to cease for many days and pretty much the whole population to be on the move. This to the great delight of the Israelites, but much to the chagrin and bewilderment of the various occupying forces, who had trouble enough with the Hebrews on a whole day off per every 7. The three main feasts were, which we already know that, Pesach, first fruits. So and there's some different things. People have some ideas on that, but we won't go into that. But again, basically what everybody understands as the three feasts that we pilgrimage. So our verb may also denote festive behavior as if one was at a feast. The Arabic equivalent means to betake oneself to or towards an object of reverence. So in Psalm 107:11, it talks about a reel to whirl around. So we can go through that. And this is from Abram Publications. So it's a circular, come dance in a circle. Draw, make a circle. I'm going to pause, and you can pause it and look at it yourself. And hug, meaning circle or circle. Don't you hug somebody, you wrap your arms around them in a circle. Your cycle of the earth, which appears to denote a more fundamental thermodynamic circle. Being compass or an instrument for circling. It's only used once in Isaiah 44:13. So that's some names associated with that. Now I wanted to kind of shift gears here. We know that people have been looking for the barley ripening in Israel. And I'm going to post this link, and this lady is a witness of the barley last year, and she posted this article, and it'll be in the description box. Another thing, let me put this in, that struck me this day was that ripe barley hissed. When the wind or the rock blows through barley that is ready for harvest, as it rubs together, it produces a distinct hissing noise as the barbs that propel the barley in one direction rub together in much a same way. A cricket or katydid rubs their legs to produce a sound. As I listened to the effect the wind was having on the ripe barley, this is what she talks about. And he will lift up an incense to the nations from he will hiss unto them from the end of the day shall come with Zechariah. I will hiss for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember our countries, and they shall live with their children and return. Again, I had looked at this verse many times and knew the definitions of the word hiss was to whistle. So my then understanding that this verse was probably better written to whistle. Why would Yehova hiss? On that day, when she talks about she stood in the barley field, I understand hiss was the perfect word for this scripture. And the sound of his calling those he had planted among the nations he them. When his set-apart spirit blows across the seed that are ripe in the field of the world, where he has planted them, when his increase is fully ready to be harvested, and his ruach stirs in their hearts, there will be a spiritual hissing. She thought of the wind, the ruach bloweth where it listeth, and I'm sorry, this is King James, I think. You hearest the sound, but cannot tell where it cometh or where it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the ruach, born from above. This is really, as I was thinking about reeds and the shepherd's flute. The dual-pipe flute of reed is generally carried by the Arab shepherd. It is true that minor strains of music come from this flute, but the heart of the shepherd is stirred, and the sheep of the flock are refreshed by the invigorating music that comes from this simple instrument. There can be little question but David used such an instrument when he this flock, in the same way shepherd lads have done for centuries around Bethlehem. It is of interest to know that the word in the Arabic language, which is the equivalent of the Hebrew word for psalm, is mazmor, which means played on a pipe or flute. And I looked up reed in that, so that was really interesting. So I'm looking at this again. I wanted to show the synchronicity of what's getting ready to happen this month. And so that it's also Purim. And on this talks about Joshua's longest day and the and things that's going on right now. So look at what things were happening with that. I'll just, look at this map, pause it.
In the battle that Israel is circumcised before battle. Okay?
So here's that, and we're going to look at this. This is where the tribes, who gets the inheritance, and it's divided up that way. Naphtali, Asher, Zebulun, Issachar knew the times and the seasons that they were in. Okay? And so here we have this. One of the videos
from last year, someone was just going by their little villager town, and I do not know who any of these people are. I'm just presenting it as research so you can make up your own mind. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just presenting this. You need to watch this. There's something very interesting in this. And I want to show you Caesarea, and then Caesarea. Now, in one of these, there were like barley. They said the northern part of Israel was riper than the southern part. But they didn't go all the way up. Now, I don't know anybody who would go up around in this area because of all going on right now. Look at Jordan and that. So, I don't know if it's safe. But we're talking about Sodom and the time frame we're in. In Genesis 18, and he goes, "Hey, sovereign, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away." Pass, okay? "I pray thee from thy servant, let now a little water be fetched, and wash your feet, and recline yourselves under the tree." This is the first mention, and this is also a picture where Yeshua washed disciples' feet. Reclining is a picture of the same. "And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and stay he your heart. After that you shall pass on, forasmuch as you are come to your servant." And they said, "So do as thou hast said." And Abraham hastened into the tent of Sarah and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead and make cakes." If that was quick, there was no time for it to rise. And then Abraham, father of many nations, ran unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto the servant, and he hastened to dress it. And he took curd and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood
by them under the tree, and they did eat. And so they said to him, Where is thy wife, Sarah thy wife? And he goes, Behold, in the tent. And certainly return to thee when the season cometh around, and lo, Sarah thy wife
shall have a son. She conceived, then 9 months later gave birth to Isaac. And so you can look up the word Isaac here. And so lambs are only born in the spring. So she, had conceived, but Genesis 21:2 says, at the appointed time, she had a son. And that's a very specific language for us to be at our appointed time. Then Genesis 19, so two angels came to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat at the gate of Sodom, and Lot saw them. And he rose up to meet them, and fell down on his face to the earth. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn aside, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your way. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the broad place all night. And he urged them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and they entered into him. He made them and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. This was during the Feast of Unleavened Bread that Sodom was destroyed. So they got out of there after this, and then Sodom was destroyed. So we have this March time frame that we're in, and the feasts of appointed time. And we also have this Ides of March that I've heard people talk about. And then this was the port in the Battle of Philippi. Now you remember here up on the Philippi, I'm wondering, could there be barley ripening up there somewhere in those fields?
Everybody's looking for that's a high probability. It's a real high probability. So you can publications and look at the name. And it's of the Battle of Philippi in relation to the New Testament cannot be overstated.
And it has to do with Julius Caesar. So I'll let you go through that. Now here is the video. This is from last year. Bombs going off in Zabib. So it's still going on. I mean, this hasn't stopped. So this was the little village that didn't go any further because the bombs were going off. And then he's talking about the same thing. So we're going to look at almonds. There's a lot of information, so you can pause it and go and just look and read through this. I love almonds. I really do. They're so good. And almond trees bears them in the midst of winter. On a naked, leafless stem, these blossoms, flesh-colored in the beginning, seem at the time of their fall exactly like white flakes. This way, the almond blossom is a very fitting symbol of old age, with its silvery hair and its wintry, dry, barren, unfruitful condition. Jeremiah 1:11. I see a rod of an almond tree shaped, for I will hasten, shaped my word to perform it. The word for almond is Shakeid, which comes from a root that means to watch or wake. The almond tree is the first tree to awaken from its winter sleep. It's also associated with Jehovah's watchfulness or faithfulness. And so you can see here, eyes open, watching carefully, be alert, watchful, an object that's the form of an almond.
Okay, so it's watch. And he keeps saying watch, watch.
We're in a high watch time right now. In an article, this is what trees are looking like in Norway. So
there's something coming, and terrible somehow. There's the pretty picture of the east. I'm going to show that. And we're going to go down and how foul is, because this is a place again where all these had taken place. Bethel, Abraham built one of the first altars mentioned in the Bible and invoked the name. So
Abraham had fled to Egypt to escape a famine, and Jacob was fleeing the wrath, and he stopped the night at Bethel. In the northern kingdom, seceded from the southern kingdom. Okay, Assyria conquered and exiled the northern kingdom of Israel. They also set a bunch of idols at Elohim. That happened all throughout the ages. So I wanted to show you, and I'll link this, and this is Rebecca, witness and testimony to the new year 16 in the land of Israel. And she put that in. I thought that was amazing because
barley will loosen when you walk through the fields, and how great of a picture this is about Gilgal and our feet and how we walk. Okay, and I'll link this, and I think it's really awesome to go through.
Witness of barley last year being ripe. So I'm going to link this so you can go through this and what you can do to get ready for it. Really great practical.
And then this is the cycle that we've been on. So here's another link to the bead of God. This is what this is talking about. This is the website. Now here's the pattern that started. They've been watching this since 2005. So normal. So again, last year we had Pesach in March because it was ripe. And so they were wondering what it was going to be like this year. And so that's why they added in Adar. However, I wonder if all the fields have been checked in northern Israel or closer to the border. I don't know. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see. And you're going to have to make some decisions for yourself. And then here's the reed, dual piped flute of reed. So blowing. You can, kind of look at this as a sign like, wow, is he calling you? Is there something stirring in your kishkas? There's a lot going on right now. So, and I wanted to, I'll show you two tables, but what was really fascinating to me was that the scale for barley is called the Zadok scale, Z-A-D-O-K. And if you go through and you look at the Zadokah, the righteous, and just the connection should really send off some really good, great fireworks. Zadok's the barley scale. So I don't know what I did with my picture of that. So maybe I'll post it or something later. And I can't find it. We can go through and look at this. Barley scale. And you look at pictures of this. So we're going to look. Zadok's growth scale. What if this is a picture of his people being ready for him? I mean, that would be an amazing picture, I would think. And so I'll let you see some of the pictures that come up with this. It's pretty interesting. So, here's one. Zadok Publishing. Where did it go? See what this is. Oh no. Don't know what I did with my other picture. Here's one. Well, this is from Sighted Moon, but serial growth stages of Zadok's. I mean, what an amazing connection to the priest, Zadokah. So I wanted to show that and get that out. And then here would be the, I'm going to close that.
Here is the first table that I did. In the search term was gala. Remember the gala, the root word? I was like, oh, that looks like gala, and it was. So at a skip is 783, and I thought it was a really great connection. Joshua 10:13 to Joshua 20, verse 6. And this is the scripture verse that this came up in. And descend westward to the border of Yavleti, to the border of lower Beth Horon, and to Gazer, and its limits are at the sea. So that was the search term, which was right here in red. And then again, I just plugged in the numbers to see what Abba would be revealing. So here is 12, okay? And then, of course, in pink is Esther. And then also Hadassah came up, so that would be myrtle, okay? And Jew, of course, that came up with a number. That would be one of the numbers I did. Seder, which is order. Hadassah, Pesach. What a convergence of different events happening in a gala. So, and here's some other things that came up. Planet, which, interesting. I'll let you think about that. Prophets. Okay. And here's just the, in Gabai, or Gabai, I'm not sure, and Gangway. So this is the table that came up with this. And then here's the other one that I did. And of course, can't ever get a straight answer out of people. You know, they all have their own agendas. So I searched ripening just to see, well, I wonder what I was saying about this. You know, could it be that it's a representation of the brides or the barley? I don't know. His people, you know, that are their hearts that are ready for him. I don't know. But here's ripening. Now it's the search term, which is in red. And then it's Micah 2:9 and Habakkuk 1:5 at a skip of 346. And I'll show you the letter. Okay, and it says, no, don't do it again. Oh God, are you kidding me? Ugh. Hear now what the Lord said, arise, contend before the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. How cool is that? So this is what that verse came up in. So that's really amazing. So we have Zadok. So I did a search on it. I was thinking, wow, I wonder, which is down here, I wonder if there's a connection to it. And there was. And I did this last month. So you have Purim. And you have expedition, march, journey, voyage, trip, barley, Purim, barley, and this came up different times as I, searched different numbers and different ideas. Anklet, walk, march. And I put north because, well, could it be that the northern parts of Israel that no one can get to, could they be ripening in secret? It could be. So yeah, captivity, Shabbat, expedition, march, voyage, trip. And then this number came up, so I wonder if this has to do with the barley being ripened in March. What a horrible controversy people went through about that. 6. It's also now the 6th month, I think. Condition. Okay, so he has condition, position, circumstances, footing, fig. Okay, heart. And it's about the heart. He's after your heart. Either you're going to obey or not obey. Either you're going to lay aside your agenda and just go after him with all your heart, or you're not. So, talking about being those pure in heart shall see Abba. North and then Zion. So I wanted to bless you and get this out and keep looking, because while you're doing it, obey. So what am I doing? I'm getting ready, and if I have to do 2 Passovers, I will. I did 3 last year because I wasn't sure, because I couldn't find the answer from anybody, because everybody thought they knew better. So I just listened, got all the information, and I listened to that still small voice, and I did it in March. I wasn't sure, so I did it in April. And then I did it again, just to make sure. So I maybe hopefully see you on the other side, and I wanted to bless you, and shalom.